Hey, hey. Yep, I can. Can you?
What's some Angel's username?
I think she's using Catwoman.
Catwoman. Hello.
Hey,
See
hey,
Hello.
you.
hey. Yeah, just give me a moment. I'll up all of you guys to.
Sure, mate.
Just give me a moment. Yeah. All right. I think I can only have 2 co-hosts, so I think that's the limit for now. So yeah, let's just hold on while people get in for the spaces, and I'll start the stream as well. From my end. Yeah. Just give me a moment.
So, how are you doing, guys?
All's good.
All
All's good.
good?
How about you?
Very great.
All's good.
It's a great day today.
Yeah, great weather also.
Yep.
Yeah. I think everything's going on quite well. I mean, merch is coming, so I think there's lots of people that are excited. I think for I would say the last few weeks.
I think someone is outside. I hear some traffic.
Yeah, I think someone is outside, but I think that's okay for now.
Geekz Wolves. I know that's you.
Yeah, I'm in my room, so yeah, I don't think it's me. Okay, who else wants to go up? All right, Charlene, let me get you up as well. Valluna, I think you guys have to use like a mobile device to get on the stream. I mean, to get into to Twitter Spaces basically, because I don't think PC supports like Twitter Spaces as a speaker role. Let's just wait for like more people to come in. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, BoxTradex, yeah, we are using phone also to join this Twitter space.
Just give me a moment. So Darren, where's Ryan? Is Ryan muted? Ryan, how are you?
Hello. Hey, everyone.
Oh yes,
Hello.
I have a good question for everyone. I mean, anyone could actually just say, who's coming for token 2049? Anyone coming for token 2049? I know we are.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll
we.
definitely be there.
So you're going for all the events?
So
Yep.
you are coming also? I mean, like Racing Punks into the Singapore event, that one.
I mean, I'm in Singapore, so I'll definitely be there.
So you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there for 2 events actually. We'll be there for the Asian blockchain games, and we'll also be there for the Token 2049. So it's going to be a very, very busy week, the last week of September.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Valluna will be on in a bit. They are trying to set up the speaker for basically to the spaces. Yeah. So I think right now we have BoxTradex, we have Geekz Wolf, and we have Great Dreams. Is Charlene, are you speaking for Great Dreams today?
Yeah, I will be add up on some part, and Get Dim Guild will express by their own idea as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You also help one of our members, Karen, speaker as well.
Yeah. Wait, let me find Karen. Oh right. Oh yeah, Karen is the one that I think she's going for token 2049. I think she told me before. Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, Karen, I just gave you the speaker role as well.
Oh, if we're all going to Open 2049, we can all meet up.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's like
Yeah,
the best.
great.
BoxTrade, where are you guys based?
We are based in Taiwan and also Singapore.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I like Taiwan.
Oh yeah, Taiwan.
I mean, Taiwan is. I mean, I've been to Taiwan like twice, I think, and I've been to like Taichung,
Oh,
right?
oh, yeah, Taichung.
I've been to Taichung.
And also, okay.
Where else have I been in Taiwan? I've been to Kaohsiung.
Do you guys have a booth as well for Token 2049?
Sorry?
Are you guys having a booth there?
I think that one should be Karen as well in that question, but I don't think that she has speaker role already. Can you help?
Oh, okay. Yeah, speaker role.
Yeah. I'm trying to push her up as well. Seems to be. Can you request? Yeah. Yeah, so just let me open spots. There's 2 more open spots. Okay, that's not cancel. Push up again. Yeah, so just give me a moment. There's many guilds, many speakers today, so I think that's like a great time. I think Novo, you are here as well. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I mean, you gave me the best idea of trying to do it on this stream as well, have the stream going on live as well together with, the spaces. So yeah, thanks Novo for like I would say the technical help. Yeah. Yeah, Karen, I think you have been up to speaker. I think you can start, for this meeting. Yeah, hi Karen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Hi
I can.
everyone. Yeah, finally can be a wonderful speaker. Nice to meet you all. And BoxTradex, yeah, it's gonna be one of the. We won't have a booth, but we will have like around 5 people be there. So I will be the one that gonna meet all of the partner. You guys, hopefully we can meet in person in Token 2049.
Yeah, be good to meet you. We're also going to the event before that. We're going to Asia Blockchain Gaming. So that's just the day before Token 2049.
Only 2049.
Okay.
Okay, so I think for today, I think we can start right now. Valluna will come on later. I think I will just keep a lookout for your message. And yeah, once you guys are done, you can just ping me on Telegram. I'll just up you guys up to speaker as well. So now they're just setting up their mics and stuff. So thank you all for coming today. I think, yeah, I mean, this is like great news for both our end and like Guilds. So we are actually working together with these Guilds. We have like BoxTradex, we have Geekz Wolf, we have Valluna, and we have Great Dream Guild as well. So, like I've mentioned before in like our past spaces as well, we are actually a GameFi project basically, and we are doing a free mint. So I would say it was sort of cost nothing for the guilds as well, and even for the players to start off with this game. And I think that this game is going to be like the future of both GameFi and especially the esports scene, because most of the guilds that we are onboarding, they are highly interested in esports, and I think that's an area that we have not been exploring, especially in the Web3 space. So thank you once again for the guilds to come on board today, to talk more about the partnerships that we are trying to, forge today. And of course, we can go one round to introduce. We'll probably start. So Darren or Ryan, could you actually just go ahead to introduce ourselves?
Hey guys, I'm Darren. So I'm the NFT director for Racing Punks. I've had a gaming background for many years. So gaming background, IP building, games publishing, and now trailblazer for Web3 blockchain space.
Yeah, Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, nice one. Well, I think Darren set the tone there, trailblazer for our Web3 space. Hey guys, so I'm Ryan. I'm the marketing director for Racing Punks. I guess before I start, it's good to see a lot of familiar faces again in this chat. Nova, good to see you. Satuna. There's quite a few people who have a name that mentioned you. Thanks for coming again. So my background, I came mainly from startups. I came from Wesel and Pronetics as the two last ventures. And I think my role is to really, let the whole world know about how great this Racing Punks project is, and work with the guys like the Darrens and like the Clements to kind of spread that message.
Yeah, and I'm Clement. I'm actually the community manager for Racing Punks, and I've brought on these like guilds and partners, to work with us on this game, and hopefully we can, take Racing Punks further and beyond. And of course, we're allocating like some cars as well to the communities, and of course for you guys to play the game once the game is out. And with regards to the game, we'll talk more about it later on. So let's go with the introductions first. BoxTradex, could you tell us more about BoxTradex, your platform, and who are the people behind it?
Hi everyone, my name is Karen. I'll talk a little bit about my background. I was working at Microsoft and Ogilvy and Mather. I'm a CMO of BoxTradex. BoxTradex is a one-stop crypto platform for GameFi, game player, and game guild. We provide the GameFi protocol for all of the Web3 user or the traditional user too. And we have a lot of business model, for example, NFT API service, crypto exchange, and NFT marketplace, even the Game Guild DAO tool. But today we want to focusing on the NFT marketplace because our marketplace under the name is called Botverse in our app. You can download it on the Google Play and iOS. And this is a secondary marketplace for selling and trading NFTs, but only focusing on gaming industry. So the gamer guild currently you can find here for 100,000 NFT from over 20 collection of the game. So besides that, we also have a feature for INO Launchpad and ICO to all of the GameFi partner who want to launch their token or NFT on our marketplace. So you can take a look at our website and to see more game partner and game guild community. And today it's really excited to introduce and combine with all of the guild with Racing Punk, and it's really good for bridging. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, Karen. We
Okay.
we hear you pretty
just
clear.
really
Yeah.
happy to have you guys all in here, and then thanks for Racing Punk to hold this event. And talking about a little bit about our token, BOXT is our native token called BOXT, and it is one of the only in our ecosystem. We are not public sale yet. It's for when you're trading more on our marketplace, you can earn our naked token. And in the future, we're gonna list in a lot of exchange. Yep. So the BOXT token have a lot of features. If you want to know more, you can go to our official website as well to take a look. And join more BoxTradex airdrop giveaway event. You can find more native token BOXT in our platform. And thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so who's next? Okay, let's go with Geekz Wolf. Come on, introduce yourself as well.
Hi everyone, Geekz Wolf here. So this is me, one of the co-founder of Geekz Wolf Guild. So actually, we are Indonesian-based guild, and we are right now. Yeah, we have more than 400 gamers join in our communities, and they are actively playing not only in Web2 games but also in the Web3 games. But most of them really need us to educate them why you guys should play the Web3 games, because you will have tons of benefits, and not many Indonesian gamers really understand those benefits for them. So that's why we want them to feel the benefit, and we want them also think that gaming is a serious thing to do. It's not just play for fun, but also you can start earning. So that's why Geekz Wolf came, and also we would like to build sort of like a gaming hub to meet all of the stakeholders in gaming industry, the gamers, the game studios, the guilds, the esport teams together, because next month we will launch our Geekz Wolf Arena. That's our first application where users can play the tournaments, and then they can also looking for class hunting in the Web3 for the Web3 games, and get to know as well what kind of the Web3 games that really happening, and get some hype. Yeah, that's us. That's all.
Very nice. I think that's a quick, short, and sweet introduction. Last but second, we have who? Who do we have next? Valluna or Great Dream Guild? Charlene, you're going to be speaking for Great Dream Guild, right? So how about you can introduce Great Dream Guild and what do they do?
Okay, sure. So Great Dream Guild is a guild from Thailand that established because of the key GameFi as an Axie Infinity. So they start from that game and they make scholarship in Axie Infinity to make the revenue the GameFi space to the people in the city. And now they are the largest guild in the northeast of Thailand, and they are kind of digital company that's producing game and investment in cryptocurrency, in GameFi, in NFT, and they also do kind of CSR to the city. So to take another step forward in going the goal of bigger project, so they are finding more the partner like BoxTradex, the crypto fighter, fishing land, and Racing Punk also one of the potential GameFi that they hope that it will make the community can be more larger. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a very strong confidence that we have on our game, especially. So don't have to worry. We're definitely trying to work together and make sure that racing punks take off, especially for the GameFi scene. And I think that I agree with like what Geekz Wolf has said as well. Like when it comes to games wise, yes, the game has to be fun. That's number one. Then number two is there has to be some sort of return, I would say, in terms of crypto gamer, for example. If not, why would they be actually be playing this game? Of course, number one, fun. The next thing is there's something to earn. So I think that's something that we can all agree on here today, and that's why we're all here today, basically. Yeah. So yeah, Valluna, have you guys fixed your mic yet? If you guys have not fixed your mic yet, yeah, that is okay. Yeah. So I think let's start off with the first question. Darren, do you have the first question? Hello. Yeah. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Sorry. Let me see.
Actually,
Right,
Clem,
so-
just adding to that, I
Yeah.
think what's kind of really exciting about today's conversation is we've been in a lot of AMAs kind of talking about how Racing Punks, wants to change the way that GameFi operates and how it rewards users with a combination of, I guess, good gameplay and also token earn. And I think what's exciting today is we get to hear it, from the point of view of the guilds, right? To really understand from the guild and also the players, how they kind of see the future of, GameFi projects, what the balance is, between, I guess, great gameplay versus, earning money, right? So
Yeah.
I think we get here straight from the horse's mouth today what the guilds want and what the guild players are looking for as GameFi kind of evolves from this generation 1 Axie Infinity DeFi Kingdoms to hopefully a generation 2, which provides a more sustainable, I guess, tokenomic model with better gameplay as well.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I mean, it will definitely lead to like the first question of the day for sure. Like we all want to know, like, what's the future of GameFi and like guilds wise in the space basically. So, I mean, it is probably a lead off of what you've just mentioned as well. Like how are we going to build GameFi, especially in, I would say, quite turbulent times, especially in the crypto space. So anyone wants to answer the question? So what do you guys think? What's the future of GameFi and GuildFi like? Ryan, maybe you can start off and maybe someone else can add in afterwards.
Yeah, well, my answer is going to be heavily biased. So,
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Look, I think from the GuildFi, I'm definitely no expert in this space. I think we'll leave it to the experts on that. But I think from Racing Punks and from my point of view, not financial advice, by the way, is that we feel like Generation 1 games, they're not sustainable, right? You've seen the Axies, you've seen the DeFi Kingdoms, you see the Probatas and the Thetan Arenas. These projects get massive hype at the start. You get this massive influx of users that kind of jump on board. And that influx of users also leads to its downfall because the game mechanics is essentially an effort-based returns system. The more users you get on, the more tokens token emission happens. And that obviously leads to a death spiral of the token price. In that sense, you kind of feel like most of these games got launched not because they were great games, but they kind of want to catch onto this GameFi wave, so they sacrificed great gameplay, and in return they were offering kind of higher financial payouts. I kind of do feel like, in Generation 2, what you're going to see is basically game publishers moving towards creating better games, more skill-based games as opposed to say effort-based games, and we're going to bring on board not only the existing, the Generation 1 GameFi guilds, but you're also going to look to bring on that kind of the traditional gamers, the Web2 gamers, the people who play the Valorants, the PUBGs, the League of Legends, and you're going to slowly see these guys migrate into the space, where to them, the biggest reward is actually, again, gameplay and community, and deviate a little bit away from just purely being financially based.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely spot on. Darren, you wanted to say something?
Oh, yep. Totally agree with what Ryan is saying. I think having a great game is key, and earning should be secondary, because entertainment and leisure is what we really spend on without really asking for much back. It's the same as why we actually spend money buying cinema tickets. We don't actually want to earn or get anything back, but we spend what we think is worth our time. So entertaining leisure is something which we all really want to have in our lives rather than just earning. So if we think about it this way as well, having great gameplay is a key and a must in order for GameFi to have a future. I think Web 2 and Web 3 games, it's not that much of a difference. Eventually, I don't think there would be something called Web 3 games. Eventually, it would be you can play the game and also have an earning aspect as a bonus. So it will still be the same player base, but if you want to make money, it would also come naturally as well. So it wouldn't be separated into two different gaming consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That I think like the game-wise, I don't think we can deviate too much from Web 2 until like a true metaverse is formed, I would say. Because I mean metaverse right now, I would say it's a pipe dream and everyone is trying to build it. Everyone's trying to integrate everything together and everyone together basically, which is like the true essence of a metaverse. I mean definitely we'll still stick to the Web 2 elements, which is I feel always stick with the basics first before venturing out into something that is more wow and more unpredictable. Yeah. And yeah, I mean the future of GameFi is definitely quite bright. Especially for I would say Southeast Asia region or the Asia region and maybe the South American region, because I think these are the kind of games that people actually love to play, especially on mobile, because these communities are more mobile phone centric, and the game that we are pushing out through Racing Punks actually starts on mobile basically. So when it's on mobile, it gives people a huge access to basically the sort of like an earning platform, and at the same time it's going to be a great game. If you guys have played racing games before, most of the times people are just going to upgrade the cars until the maximum, and then you realize that, oh no, I can't catch up. Why? Because I couldn't spend as much as the other person. No, what we're trying to promote here today is a skill-based game basically. So no matter what kind of car you're going to drive, you'll still be classed accordingly into your group. So for example, B classes, you guys will be competing against maybe D or maximum up to C, and so on and so forth. So there's always a skill-based element involved into earning, and everyone has a fair chance of winning. And with regards to GameFi and esports, I don't think these two things can ever separate from each other basically, because esports is huge wherever you go, whether it be in America, whether it be in Asia, whether it be in Europe. Esports is something that has been the mainstay for maybe the last good 20 years, ever since Web 2 games actually started. Yeah, so what we're trying to do here is, because it is skill-based, it is much easier for them to, for us to integrate the esports element into it. And for you guys are just going to be racing based on your skill, based on your timing, and these are the kind of like attributes that, will help make it a more esports friendly game basically. Yeah. Anyone wants to hop in, to tell us like what do you think the GameFi future is like? Maybe BoxTradex, you guys want to try? Or Charlene, how about you?
Okay, I will reply as a getting guild idea that we have talked about the future of GameFi and GuildFi before. So I think the GameFi is kind of reintegrate the blockchain into GameFi to reduce kind of cheating on the transaction. Like for the Web 2 game, sometimes like they still have kind of cheating for the buying item, exchange item, but we use blockchain, it will be more correct for the transaction, and you can check the proof of the owner, something like that. And yeah, for the future of GameFi, it will be more going well and well. If we have the best community for the guild. Like if we can gathering more and more players who like to play the game together, we can be the one who can set up the allocations pie. We can make it balanced for the how to say that, like the price in the markets of the game, and the more and more people will play the game, the more and more the game can be long lasting. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
our idea. That if we have more and more
I
large
thought
ecosystem, yeah.
I fully agree with that actually. So, what I think is that right now we are starting off by gathering guilds to come and try our game, come and play our game. Their community can play our game for free basically, and we are trying to acquire as many users as possible to make it probably a great game and a great community just based on that alone. Because what sets a good game apart is definitely the community building process and how many people that are actually playing the game. If we have, for example, we have already started with 4 guilds. So basically, in essence, we can say that we have 4 esports teams that can compete in racing bounds. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people can say unless you are something as huge as Dota, for example. So we are trying to work our way towards that level whereby once we have many guilds support, they can start off straight away with like an esports tournament whereby only these guilds that have minted our cars or even like their own community members, they can join this tournament whereby they can actually race their cars against each other and win a grand prize, for example. Yeah, so BoxTradex, you unmuted yourself. You want to say something as well?
Yeah. Maybe like when we talk about the future of GameFi, because most of us like we are playing a game because it's a fun, right? Like fun means like many things, like fun, like when you play the game you can also earn something, and especially in Southeast Asia I think like they see these opportunities that can be like a fixed income coming to our pocket. So like it doesn't need to you go to the work. Even now you can just like work in home and then play game. Even like Web3 gaming now is still actively give you like a scholarship program, and also they have many events to do with the communities. So I think it's also a good opportunities in the GameFi and also for the racing punks. And I think it's also a special game to play with because it's racing in Web3 gaming. So yeah, that's our comment.
Yeah, I think that's great. Geekz Wolf, you guys want to add something as well?
Well, yeah. I think we already see the first phase. I would like to say that as the first phase of the Web3 games, where the Axie Infinity, where actually it's least fun, right? But people coming to get earn or get a reward from that. But along the way, I believe that what really matters for the gamers is the gameplay. It's always the gameplay because we come to play the game because we would like to have fun, and we've been playing games since the beginning, or even the human history also playing games in whatever medium they have for sort of like a long time in a prehistoric ages. So right now, the second phase or the next phase of the GameFi will be focused more on the gameplay rather than the reward itself, because that's how the gamers came to the Web3 space. And then the other important part is how the guild can involve, because basically the guild is the one that know the game first, and also the one that help the game studio to introduce them to the gamers, because guild gonna be like one of the what I could say is the distribution platform for a game studio to introduce what they have in their products to the gamers. So that's why I think the guild also need to evolve, not only become like offering the scholarship, but also more than that, more into like growing together with their community and sharing more with their community what kind of games that is really have a really good gameplay, and also let's have fun together in the games. So that's what we always thought.
Can I have a little bit opinion about this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go
sure.
ahead, Karen.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I think a lot of like good GameFi, we call GameFi, but actually just like you guys say, have to be fun. And now it's
Yeah.
more moved to like grow up with community. Like you can have like a beta version in the beginning
Yeah.
and let your community give you like directly feedback. Is this game how to become more fun, how to become like more reasonable about tokenomic ecosystem? I know tokenomic ecosystem now is a little bit tricky because really doesn't have automatic say final solution for this. But in the beginning, definitely will have some more good way to add on as a benefit to the game, play game and fun game, and add on some benefit on it. So I think that Racing Pong is doing a really good job for like started from the free mint and then let a lot of users, no matter from Web 2 or Web 3, just a player who want to play the game, try the game,
Yeah.
and have a lot of feedback and grow up together. Yeah, that is my little opinion.
Totally agree with you,
Yeah,
Karen.
actually,
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, Karen, because I think one of the things that I think there's a pros and cons to this argument. I mean, I think one of the biggest misconceptions a lot of GameFi or projects try to build in is the role that the community plays in the roadmap of the game. So for example, from a publishing house perspective, getting the community feedback and putting that of the gameplay and then taking that gameplay feedback and then translating that into the game, I don't feel like most game publishers are ready, or they can turn that around within a time where the result is still relevant and timely. But I think to your point, you mentioned the idea of the tokenomics. I think that's a fantastic point. And the reason for that is because, for example, the way that the tokens are used, the way the transaction fees or how transaction fees, from the token transaction are used is something that the DAO or the gamers can contribute. Whether they want to put a larger proportion of that towards, game development, or if they want to put that towards the token burn, or even back into treasury. I think this is something that, as the guilds and the gamers, become more sophisticated in understanding about the whole tokenomic system, then their votes will have a larger say in terms of, I guess, how the outcome of this game would be. Would there be more money going towards future iterations of the games, and therefore probably making the NFTs more interoperable? Or for a short-term solution, would more money be put into, I guess, a token burn to make sure that we maintain a token price? So I think it's really interesting in terms of the matrix, where of how the guilds can cooperate with the games to ensure a sustainable gaming ecosystem.
Yeah, right. You're right. Sometimes we can't listen to everyone. Imagine if everyone had a vote and everything mattered. But to some extent, what Karen says is right, because if we look at how Web2 gaming, let's say the biggest games of esports, how it became successful, like League of Legends, this became really successful because they actually knew how to bond the community together. So the community, they actually knew how to create their own community. So you could say this was actually the start of Web3. Everyone bonded together on Reddit. The developers were on Reddit. So the community were able to see, oh, this champion was not balanced, he's overpowered. So developers can actually hear the voice of the people and make balances from here. They would also able to see, oh, this player, Clement, he's a toxic player, he's ruining the fun for everyone, so developers can actually ban him. So sometimes it actually does help. And so for games like League of Legends, Overwatch, they actually use the same methodology of listening to people. So I think Web3 is adopting this into more of a DAO system, except that you need to have ownership to actually have a voice. So I think this is also good and bad, that the fact you have to have ownership to spend money to have ownership. So I think Web3 can actually adopt a similar model, that you can still have a voice without actually earning anything. So this is something we can actually look into as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is what I would say like a DAO, but we are not really a DAO, because basically what we're trying to do is making sure like the game improves from like the feedback from the community. And I think what we are trying to do here is also because we are letting the guilds as well to test out the game and make sure that yes, it is suitable for like the community. And then once the game is truly out, then that's where the fun will begin, basically. And I think that's like the main reason why we need guilds, and we need their opinions as well, because I think they are the best people to look towards to, especially for any games, basically, whether they be Web3 or Web2. Yeah. So what do you guys think about like a play to earn model versus like a play and earn model? I think Ryan has basically lots and lots of things to say about this. So what do you think? Hello?
You know what,
Yeah.
Clem? I'm gonna let everyone else have a chance to speak, because if I speak, I'm gonna bore you guys to death with it. So let's hear what everyone else has to say. I'll chime in.
All right. So I think what we all agree on is that like XE is like the biggest probably GameFi project out there for the last 2 to 3 years, basically. And I think right now it's slowly and sort of dying. And I think what Racing Punks want to do is, instead of moving towards like a play to earn or true play to earn, we want to make it more play and earn, whereby it is definitely skill based. It's not like loot box based, whereby you need to breed and get certain meta creatures for Axie Infinity, for example, and then you guys can get a good enough yield just to participate. No, we want to do it more of a skill. So as time goes by, with more practice, you guys can able to get good at the game, basically. Yeah. And of course, we're trying to implement as well like a MMR system, matchmaking rating system, which will allow you guys to compete people on the same level. So even if you are just a newbie, you won't get destroyed straight away when you enter the game. So I think that's something that's very important, especially when it comes to any competitive game, basically. And I think most of you guys are very, very experienced in probably games, basically. And I think for Valluna wise, they basically have several members that used to play Hearthstone. So I think Hearthstone has gone through lots and lots of like balancing in order to make sure that certain cards and certain metas or certain builds, right, are more balanced in some sense, whereby it doesn't allow a newbie to get wrecked straight away. A newbie basically can get practice first with the decks they have just created, and sort of get on their level. Yeah. But of course there's definitely a paywall when it comes to upgrading. So what we are trying to do here is we are also trying to remove that paywall. So in terms of what we want you guys to improve on your gameplay wise, you can improve it in terms of like the appearances of the car, maybe slight tier boost. So if you want to compete in the S tier level, you guys can upgrade to the S tier. If you guys want to go to the A tier, you guys can go to the A tier. Yeah. So all of these things we're able to do, and most importantly is it comes as a form of branding as well. The cars that you guys have, you guys can actually brand it as a Valluna car, you guys can brand it as like a Geekz Wolf car, you guys can brand it as a BoxTradex car, you guys can brand it as a Dream Guild car, for example. All of these can be done. Yeah. So what we're trying to do here is we are trying to integrate both like the marketing and branding element into the game, including the fun of the game. Because the fun of the game for us always takes precedence over like the earning potential. The earning potential, there are still lots and lots of things to be fixed, especially in the GameFi space. Because I think like Karen has mentioned previously, that the tokenomics is something that is kind of complicated, and we need to work something out whereby it's a more sustainable way of emissions, for example. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think play and earn works more, or play to earn works more? Anyone? Yeah. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I think you guys can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, Clem, I'm gonna actually you go, my friend.
You go.
Oh, sure. Yeah, got it. So, I think the model of the play to earn in the beginning of the Web3 game is still needed for this Web3 games to grow and get more users, because back again people respond to incentive, and how to migrate them from Web2 games to Web3 games through the incentive, right? And it's proven it works, which many players are trying to have like their decentralized wallet playing the games, and then through Axie Infinity. So that totally make everybody get to understand that, okay, so the blockchain have some utilities for the gaming, and it's a totally makes sense for the game to migrate to the Web3 space. And right now that really matters. Play and earn should be come first, because the gamers already try the games, but some of it also feel the benefit, get the reward, but some of them also maybe feel like a bit disappointed, because okay, the game is just like this, and right now it's need to evolve through the play and earn. Because I do remember back then when I was playing a couple of online games, and there were some like in-game economy happen, but there is no marketplace for us to trade our items. There is no place for us to trade our characters. But right now in the play and earn, that kind of thing is very possible, which those in-game economy already happen for a long time. And yeah, for us right now, play and earn should be the main goal for all of the game studio, where user can get fun playing the games, and they could earn at the same time, but more importantly, they could have fun first. So yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Especially the point you mentioned about the marketplace, right? Having a marketplace where it's liquidity of your characters, because I kind of feel like this whole change or this transition from play to earn to play and earn, it's really about asking the question: how can users monetize playing? Let's call it GameFi projects. And I think the first generation, what you see with Axie, users can basically monetize through the token, right? You earn SLP, or you earn DeFi Kingdoms, you earn like dual tokens. That's how you monetize through effort. I think what we're going to see here, this whole play and earn, it is not new. All it is like in Web 2, it's essentially saying, rather than owning the token, what if, unlike Web 2 game, we elevate it and let you own the character in the game that you play. And as you play with this in-game avatar, this character more, that character becomes more valuable. So in that sense, that play and earn transition is really about saying, apart from tokens, how about we monetize the NFTs that are also act as in-game characters that become more valuable as you play. So therefore, your effort is rewarded in both your NFT value and also partially through the tokens.
Yeah, I think right, you got it spot on, I think. Yeah, I mean, in terms of play and earn and play to earn or play and earn, I don't think there's much of a difference. It's a very, very blurred line, I would say. But I think what's most important is that no matter which game that we are going to develop or you guys are going to onboard, for example, I think something that you guys should always look out for is, in terms of the development, what's the progress like? Like are they actually working on like the game, or is it just like oh, you guys have to wait 2-3 years before the game is out? And I think that's something that we would not like our community to wait while they actually, after they minted our car, basically. Because right now we actually have a working game. We have the APK ready, we have like the demo ready, basically. But of course, I think that we've mentioned this to all our guilds that we are working with, that there are some things that we are trying to work out. And the game trailer is even on our YouTube as well, which you guys can see. And I don't think that's something that most projects are actually capable of at this point of time, because they are all in the progress of development. They are building their platforms, they're staking platforms, etc. All of these things can be done maybe in like a 3-4 week period. But in terms of the game, that's something that takes years. But the fact that we have an actual game that is ready, I think that's something to shout out for, especially in this space, because that's not something that most people do. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, what else do you guys think about like this whole play and earn and play to earn kind of concept? Like, anyone else? If not, we can move on to the next question. Right, I mean, all of you guys, I think you guys are huge like esports fans, basically. So how do you think esports will be like, maybe like 5 years from now, basically, especially with the GameFi space or Web3 games, basically? Yeah, how does Web3 and esports come together? Ryan, do you know? Darren, how about you?
I think if League of Legends moved into Web3 now, they will probably be the biggest game of the planet, and even more so. They're the biggest game on the planet right now, and if they gave ownership to everyone of their characters, everyone could trade items. They already have the community, the loyalty of the fans. I think it's because they focus solely on the community rather than a token economy. Well, because they don't have a token economy, but even if they did, they would still focus on the economy first rather than how the project would make money. Because if you think about it, when they started, it was a free game. They never made anyone pay a cent. So whereas World of Warcraft, they made everyone do subscription-based games, it never grew as big, even though they had a much longer time span. So this actually proves that if you focus on the community rather than the economy, you can go much farther ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, how about Valluna? You guys wanna say something about like basically esports, because I think you guys are basically one of like the partners that have tons and tons of like esports experience. With one of your gaming director, he used to be like a huge Hearthstone dude. I mean, some of you guys might know him. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about esports in the future when it comes to GameFi?
Okay, so for esports, right, in GameFi, I think we already seen like esports being in GameFi from XE itself. XE has been like a competitive game for quite a long time already. And we have seen many like invitationals and even their world championships that are coming up that are competitive in nature. So it actually really depend on how Web2 games come onto Web3 into GameFi. Because it's like Web2 games, a lot of these games are competitive by nature, like card games, Hearthstone, Magic, Runeterra, and mobile games like League of Legends, Dota, stuff like that will have to translate over to Web3 first for us to see like the esports scenes to develop there here. Yeah. So we have to wait for all of these games to be like, there's a very good working product out there in Web3 space that's like consistent and everybody's playing it. Then we will start to see esports coming up. Because I think a lot of games are planning to have their esports in mind at the start without like a solid player base first, which is, I think, it might not fly in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, which is exactly why we are actually building the community first before we push out the whole esports concept or push it onto other people. And I think that's something that most projects are not doing at the moment. And I think with questions with regards to like building games as well, when you're talking about Dota and League of Legends, I think I'm a huge fan of like RTS games, for example. I think
Clement, before we move on, I'd just like to ask him, why would you consider Axie Infinity as an esports game?
It is competitive by nature. Ultimately, if you break it down, it's actually a card game. I myself come from the Hearthstone background, so a lot of my friends who are from card game backgrounds, I also have an competitive advantage in XE as well. We are better able to analyze the cards, analyze the axes, and execute the different strategies that are better for this game. Yeah. So in terms of like from a card game perspective, there's definitely an edge to begin if you are a card game player previously. So
yeah, I'm a Runeterra player. I'll consider them as more strategy games rather than esports games, because esports is it's electronic sports. It has to be not strategy, but more to do with actions. So
So that's what you define as esports, right? So would you
Yes.
consider Hearthstone, Magic, and Runeterra as esports then?
I wouldn't, because that's like saying poker is a sport as well.
Then I think we will have like a different kind of like definition for this, because to me, esports is anything that's a digital card game, a video game itself. Whether be it strategy based or whether it requires mechanical skill, is still under esports for me. But if it's defined somewhere, if you need mechanical skill, then it's a whole different genre. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see where like the competitiveness comes from. Like, I mean, if some of you guys have played any gacha games out there, for example, even like Genshin, for example, where you guys are drawing characters, and these cards or characters in some sense have like certain stats and certain abilities to them. And in like Hearthstone wise, every card has its own power, every card has its own defense, every card has its own attack points. So in the same concept wise, I think Axie Infinity is also sort of like that, whereby each of these axes, they have their own skills, they have their own attributes wise, and it takes a bit of strategy to work around and optimize like the best team of axes basically to work together. So I think I agree with like both Darren and also like Valluna as well. You guys are working like a strategy plus a card game, and it sort of like comes together. And yeah, I think XE is competitive, but however, I think the key thing that sort of makes XE not as great as before is the fact that the gameplay is getting kind of down. They need to add in more new elements, because as with any games, if the meta is always kind of stagnant or it just changes over the maybe the next 3 months or something like that, it's going to die off pretty quickly. So yeah. So,
but Clement, before I have one more just to finish up on that topic.
All right.
I also define esports as like it has for access to certain characters. So you have access to, there is strategy, but you spare access for all. So what it means is that, so if we use League of Legends for example, There's 120 champions. Everyone can use the same champions, use the same skills. You cannot pay to win in any form. Monetary value cannot give you an advantage in any way. This is why League of Legends got so big. Same with Overwatch. It doesn't matter if you're the richest person in the world or the poorest person in the village. You can still become a champion. Whereas Axie Infinity, you need money to win.
Yeah,
So
totally.
this is not the true form of competitive or esports gaming. So that's how I wouldn't categorize that as there as well.
Okay. So there's sort of like a play to earn kind of like, concept that's integrated within like these card games as well, and even for Axie. So I guess that's where like
yes, because if you actually pay to win, whereas the competitiveness is not competitive in skill, it's competitive in monetary value.
yeah, I mean it does, but I mean the cards that you have as well is sort of like the kind of strategy that you want to use, the kind of deck that you guys want to use as well. So I mean there's definitely like a sort of like a play to earn, concept to it, and there's also a competitive, aspect to it as well. Because it doesn't matter whether you spend like $10,000 or you spend $1,000. It also depends on how you're going to use the cards as well. So yeah, I agree that it sort of kind of blurred the lines for esports as well, because some people can buy all the cards in the world and be the best player. But
if you went in Hearthstone, if you went up to a player, he had all the gold cards and you had beginner packs. It doesn't matter what strategy you use, you will lose. Ultimately,
yeah. But what I'm saying here is that, like, if you want to compare it to something like Hearthstone, so anybody who is at like a higher echelons of play, the higher levels of play, are all gonna have access to the same amount of things. But Axie is slightly different in that sense that because there are certain Axies that breeders breed who they do not release to other teams or other players to buy. So that might be the kind of advantage that you're saying here. I can see that for this. But I think in a general sense, if all these Axies are breed out and people know the general strategy that it's good, right? The players who are playing with the same Axies will still have, the good players will still have an edge over the lesser players. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. The strategy base in this game is still there. Yeah.
Got it. Gotcha, man.
Yeah. Totally. Thanks for input, man, from like a Hearthstone, probably esports guy. I mean, you guys have very strong backgrounds in like basically the esports scene. So I think having like these, opinions, I think is very, very valuable to the space. Yeah, I mean we can move on. So how do you think that we should actually, adjust the model in this turbulent market, for example? Because I think what's upcoming in like the next few weeks or so, I think next 2 weeks, is like the Ethereum merge, which is going to make or break, I would say, crypto. So, I mean, you guys can actually, share your thoughts about what you guys think about like whether this ETH merge will actually affect basically GameFi in general. Because I think most of them are built on, I mean, the NFTs wise, they're definitely built on Ethereum, it's a 721 or the other one. I can't remember the number, sorry. Yeah, so how do you think that this ETH merge will actually affect everyone in the future? If it goes well, and if it goes badly for everyone, how do you think this will affect everyone basically? Yeah. Ryan, what do you think? How do you think the ETH merge will come? I think you're quite excited, right?
I'm okay. I mean, I kind of see the merge as like the effect on GameFi. The way I see the biggest impact is more the fact, if you look at the macro, like VC money is drying up, right? And VC money was what was kind of propping up the Axies, the Thetan arenas, right? That money was essentially used as liquidity incentives to bring on the gamers. And I kind of see like, yes, there's the merge having an effect. It could make gas fees a little bit cheaper on Ethereum, but that's probably not going to happen for at least a few month minimum. But that being said, you don't want to run blockchain games on mainnet because I guess those fees will really kill you. But more importantly, I kind of feel like just for the GameFi industry as a whole, like what we have seen in especially the last 6 months is the rate of VC funding has shrunk. And so what that means is that for all the GameFi projects, they are looking, well, the good GameFi projects should be looking at, I guess, creating a more sustainable tokenomic model that includes both how much can you realistically pay out through either staking or gameplay in tokens to the players versus how much improvement you need to make on the gameplay to make sure it's a fun game to play. And I think that's a balance that's pretty much brought on through this crypto winter. And maybe it's a balance that you're going to see a lot of games either go back to the drawing board or revise what their go-to-market strategy looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, BoxTradex, how about you guys? How do you think you guys are going to build basically in like such turbulent times for crypto basically? Ever since like the crash of Luna, blah blah, and now that we have like ETH merge coming up, do you think there's anything different that you guys want to change about BoxTradex and what you guys are doing? I think this will affect you guys the most, right?
Yeah, actually, like as we know that we are an NFT marketplace and also exchange, and the exchange situation for now is like going up, going down, going down, going up, something like that. But I think for now, I think our main focus is on the we are still keep going on the partnership and also kind of our community, because since it's because all of us has this kind of the market condition. I think it's the best opportunity for now to have more and more like partnership to going through this situation first, and then just waiting first until this can come back or something like that.
I want to say something. So why we wanted to, introduce Racing Pond to all of the Hill, it's because every time that we saw a lot of like GameFi partner who want to be partnership with us, but the first thing for our community is like we want to make sure that this game are fun and people won't be like got scammed by anything else. And so this is the first priority that we are considering for our community. And second of all, it's like a really good game, like any kind of game, like can play longer with our community, with our marketplace. That is a ultimate goal that we want to work with and see how it goes. Even end up like bear market, but we still think the blockchain technology, definitely including crypto or metaverse in the future, definitely are all of the people need to go into it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I would like to say some like the last night price of GameFi and today morning GameFi are so excited about the gap of generations, by the way. And in the bear market for the guild side, to keep an update with our community, like they are trying to find more GameFi partner that have more be famous, be well known, to do the live stream for the game, even GameFi or Web2 game, like to let their communities still trust in their platform that they are going well in the guild. Yeah. Like they still try to keep update by doing live stream day by day for getting guild.
I think that's a great point. I think I feel that blockchain technology wise, it's still definitely viable and definitely the biggest use case for blockchain basically. And I don't think that's something that is going to die out or run out, even if like Ethereum fails. Even if the merge actually does not work out as well as we think it's going to be, the technology still remains, and that's their MVP basically, is their minimum viable product that is able to make sure that okay, people are still using my technology. That's fine. At least there's a use case for it. We shouldn't be too focused on like the prices, because it's eventually going to go up as more people adopt this technology. And you can see like institutions, banks, and even governments, they are actually adopting blockchain technology, but they are just trying to find a way to regulate it in a way whereby it's not much of a risk to a retail investor or someone who's new to blockchain basically, and they just want like a quick buck out of it. And I think that's something that we should all stay away from, because we are not here looking for a quick buck. We are here looking to utilize the technology involved and make sure that we are able to move in the direction away from Web 2 and more towards Web 3 in the future. And I think that's the way we should be having that mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good point, Clem. So I think if we just truly look at this, just say technology as a whole, like is Ethereum the best chain for games? Well, unfortunately, it's not, right? And yes, it does have certain issues, but as a chain, you probably look at something like the Avalanche subnets, right? And I think that's something that with a lower gas is something that makes much more sense. Just the users playing the game and making sure they're not playing arm and a leg, whilst they're doing it. But I think more importantly, for Ethereum or just for any blockchain in general, to really bring on GameFi, I think Darren made this really good point. Like a really good game on blockchain, users should not even feel like they're on the blockchain, right? So it really just comes down to even how they structure the smart contracts to make sure that all these transactions that have been processed does not actually stand in the way of the UX of the gameplay itself.
Yeah, totally. Anyone wants to chime in as well with regards to this? How do you think guilds are going to, work out in especially like in these times basically? Because I think for guilds wise, you guys are getting more and more players on board, because I think the main focus is making sure that the community is growing, the community is happy. There's a game that people play or new games that people can play, because it's great to have more games than to have less games for guild wise. Yeah, Geekz Wolf, you want to say something?
Well, yeah, I think for game guilds need to evolve in the way they do the activity towards their communities. I mean, we still do some engagement activity with the communities, like doing some sort of like a tournaments, scrims, or quick sprint tournaments, sort of like that. So in order for the community still enjoy playing the games, and it's become like a place where they could hang out and chat and making friends with the fellow game lovers. So that's how I think where the game guild should also evolve in this kind of market condition, and also keep on sharing about the new game, and then also give some benefit as well with the community when they join our communities, and what kind of benefit that they got, whether it's like new game information, or like the giveaway things, or also become a scholar. So that's how we evolve towards this market. Hello?
Yeah. Something was wrong with my connection right there, so I think.
Okay, I thought mine.
Okay. No, it's fine. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Like in terms of developing, I would say in times like this, I guess we can say we just keep on building. We don't have to worry too much about prices in the market, market factors, because I think what people are very disillusioned by is, like, let's say when Bitcoin goes down, every single project in this world, or every single Web3 project is just going to stop building, or is slowing down in terms of building their projects, whether it be GameFi, DeFi, whatever. I think that's a misconception when it comes to projects wise. So even if the prices go down, you guys don't have to worry, because ultimately the projects that you are putting your faith behind, they are definitely going to continue building. And with the guilds on board right now, we don't think we are going to stop building, because that's I would say the main thing why we are doing this. We want to build communities. We want to build a great game for people to play, and we are going to try and build like the esports scene as well. Definitely in Southeast Asia, because I think right now that's like sort of the biggest community wise for mobile games. Maybe we just take a look at Mobile Legends, for example. I think it is by far, or maybe I have not explored much, but I think it's by far like one of the best mobile games to have ever been released in like the last 5 years. I've been playing since it was released, when they had only like 20 characters, and they all look the same as it was from League of Legends, basically. And it's a bit controversial when it comes to talking about this. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if we are able to work our way towards something like Mobile Legends, for example, I think that's going to be a great future for GameFi projects that are mobile. And of course, that's not the only platform that I think Racing Punks is exploring. We are going to definitely explore a PC version as well, to make sure that there's a smooth trend. There's going to be more options for people to play, whether it be on console, PC, or mobile. But for now, right now, we are going to target mobile first, because that's the direction that most GameFi projects, they really want to explore. Yeah. So what key points do you think guilds need when they are selecting the GameFis they want to enter? I think this is a question for like the guilds wise rather than us. Geekz Wolf, how about you? What do you think is a selection criteria when it comes to you guys choosing games, for example?
Yeah, well, Because we are in a South Asian base, so what we are looking first, the gameplay, and also whether they have a mobile version of their gameplay. The kind of things I think it's important for Southeast Asian market, because most of, I think more than 60% of the users are mobile phones. So that's why those two things are quite important. And the third part is whether they have sort of like tournament or leaderboard things where are eager to get to be the first place or top 50s. That's how make it more competitive, because the more competitive, the more people will practice and train in the gameplay. So those two things is the main aspect for us when selecting the games. And well, the third part also still, we also looking for like the reward, whether the reward is quite good or not. But right now the reward is we deprioritize the token reward. We rather things that the gameplay, the mobile, the tournament things, it's still it should be in the first place of our aspect when selecting the games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's something that's most interesting about, I mean, most people are interested about basically from the Racing Punks community is that I think one of the questions from Blessed, I think Blessed is here. Yeah, so he asked basically like guilds actually make great impact in every play to earn or play and earn project because they have scholars. So what are you guys actually doing in terms of like scholarships? I mean, for any of the guilds out there, you guys can actually just pick up in terms of that. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
for Game Guild, how we determine the GameFi to play and to do scholarship to invest is like, first we will look on the community. So like how the turnover will be, how the game dev will respond to us, like how they can deal with the scholarship system, how they can deal in the down market, and how much information they can provide to us. But first, the important thing is about the community, like how the game dev have interaction with the user. Yeah, that's the most important part to make the game can go well and have more future on it.
Yeah. How about you guys from Valluna or Geekz Wolf? How are you guys dealing with scholarships wise from your end?
For games wise, right? So what we like to look at is really firstly the gameplay itself, like how skill intensive is the game, because we have seen many games which are like not really that skill intensive, and it's literally like the player can just go in and press one button and the game plays itself. So we don't actually want to get on board those kind of games. We rather rather go into games which have higher skill. Yeah. So next would be like the NFT mechanics. So we look at how the NFT functions and so on, what kind of NFTs are available, and also how sustainable the tokenomics are. Like how is the tokens being used for the project itself? Like, is there any incentive for players to be using the tokens for something in game, or are players purely just using it to sell or to earn yield? Yeah.
Yeah.
They also take a look at their investors, like what kind of funding do they have? Will they be able to sustain for long without any form of like additional players coming in, or do they have like funding for like years to come? Yeah, and also their team experience as well. So
Yeah.
for example, like if a game has like a very reputable team that came from AAA studios previously, then we'll be more confident in the game development side of things. Yeah, and also as well, community, as mentioned before, community is also very important. So if the community is large enough, there's like hype regarding it. So even if there are no guilds joining this particular project, if there's like in the general public, there's a lot of people playing this game, wanting to play this game, then I think it will succeed as well. Yeah.
I think from the gaming perspective, I don't know what you think, but what do you think about having like some sort of RNG element involved in like basically a GameFi project? Do you think that's something that you will welcome, or you think that's something they reject? Because I feel that the RNG sort of creates that sort of excitement when it comes to any game, Get what I mean?
Yes, for sure. RNG is actually like a very important portion of the game, because the thing is like you don't want it to be just purely skill. Then you will just have chess, right? Because chess is like a pure skill game. There's no RNG involved. But if you introduce RNG elements into the game, you'll be more inclusive to more people in the space. More people will be willing to play, because even lesser skilled players will have a chance to win in the game. they have a chance to have fun in the game. So RNG is actually very important, but it cannot be overdone to a point where RNG is the main thing of the game. Yeah, whereby players is like any player can just be the high skill player by just being like very slightly lucky. You want it to be very lucky instead of like slightly lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think if there's no RNG element involved in like any game, right, I don't think it'll be successful because sort of I would say most gamers would want sort of like a gambling aspect, whether it be when it comes to decisions or choices that they're going to make in the game, or even like a loot box element. Because I think most loot box games are actually very, very successful, and they tend to gain like a huge player base, especially if continuous development is done and there's new metas involved, and like there's probably new characters released every now and then. Because I think we can't avoid that fact. RNG is definitely going to be a huge thing, especially for any game out there. Yeah, I think you guys have answered the question quite great. Yeah, Geekz Wolf, do you want to chime in on that as well? What do you think about the game basically, and what kind of scholarships you guys want to do, or RNG elements or stuff like that?
Well, yeah, RNG elements quite good actually for the game itself, and in terms of selecting the games which we're going to score, I totally agree with Valluna where we need to also looking for who the one is developing the game, because that make us more confidence, because they are like sort of like the OG in this game industry, right? So the kind of things also matters for us.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, I mean, of course, right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to focus on the skill first, and because basically everyone's going to get the same car. I think that's fair. And how they want to upgrade it or what they want to do with the car, basically in terms of design wise, is wholly up to the user. But upgrading it only allows you to get to the next tier or the next level of MMR, for example, or the next like group of people that are going to fight you. It's not going to be something that you can maybe an S-class car against a D-class car, for example. Yeah, so we are trying to make sure that the game is balanced in that way, and there won't be exploits in that sense. I think that's something very important when it comes to having a competitive mindset. Because even if you see in Dota, if you are on like 8k MMR, you are never going to play against like a 2k MMR guy, unless you're going for like maybe like a public game that's like non-ranked. Yeah. So once you enter a ranked mode, basically, everything will balance out in terms of your skill level. So I think that's something very important that we are trying to implement it into Racing Punks as well. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been an hour, so let's talk more about like the free minting. BoxTradex, how about you guys? About the free minting, it will be held in BoxTradex, right? Can you like explain how we're gonna mint? So basically, we are gonna have a website. Our website's up. We're gonna have like a mint platform as well. You guys can mint from there. And for BoxTradex, which I think most of you guys are from as well, you guys can actually mint by connecting the Wallet Connect. Am I right to say that, Karen? Or maybe BoxTradex, you guys can talk about it.
Yeah, it's correct. So BoxTrade and also Racing Punks, we would like to use as Wallet Connect to do the free minting. So like we welcome our guilds and also all of our community like to join this free minting from our Wallet Connect. So usually the steps are very simple, and then we also provide a whitelist before the free minting, and also we will provide also free transaction fee for our community and also official partners. So yeah, just download our app first, or like visit our website and then just connect the BoxTradex wallet, by the Wallet Connect with the Racing Punks website. So yeah, after that just go to minting, and then that's all. So the NFT will be yours. Yeah, so I think the main thing that we provide this Wallet Connect because we would like to welcome all of the users and also partners to join this free minting in the Racing Punks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty simple. We'll probably have the steps out in like a Twitter post, I think, to allow you guys to mint. So I think we are allocating a number of cars to each of the guilds that we are working with today and speaking to today. The number will be confirmed closer to the mint date. I mean, it's more or less confirmed, but we are going to sort of confirm it again. And then once it's confirmed, we'll probably release the whitelist spots out to you guys, and then you guys can start getting your wallets whitelisted. And then when it comes to mint date, you guys can mint through the BoxTradex wallet. I think that's the most important point that we are going to make here today. And after that, if you guys can look at the live stream as well that has been pinned in the spaces itself, I think I'm going to show you guys what kind of like cars you guys are going to have, or like the kind of like brands that you guys can actually have in the car. So I think for the first one, there's going to be a slight time lag between like the live stream as well. Yeah. So I think for the first one, we have like the BoxTradex car. You might see this car on the street sometimes. So we're actually, getting our car designs inspired from like real life vehicles, because we don't want to make it too futuristic in some sense. And hopefully, I think in the future, we're also going to try and get licensing as well from these companies, hopefully, because I think that's the best way we can move forward and gain more attention for our game itself. Yeah, so as you can see here, we have like the BoxTradex branded car. We have like the Geekz Wolf branded car. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty similar to some of the cars that you guys can see on the road, but don't worry, these will all be able to be minted and upgraded accordingly. So don't worry, guys. Yeah. So you can do things like, customize the rims, customize the paint job, customize the headlights, I think. And most importantly, you can even place like your NFTs, your logos, your brands. Even for some people, if I'm not wrong, YGG has like a sort of a scholarship pass. You guys can even put this on the car itself. So if you guys in the future have a scholarship pass as an NFT or a proof of participation or something like that, you guys can actually even place it on the car, which I think that's going to be huge, especially in terms of marketing and even branding wise. So if let's say you can even see a Valluna branded car racing in the track next to you, and you'll be wondering like, how is this logo? Why is it not in the default? Then people will go and see, okay, it's a Valluna car. Even on the tracks itself, I think we're going to do sort of like advertisements and billboards of sorts like you see in F1 as well. These are kind of things that maybe when people drive past, they don't really notice. But as you watch the replays of how maybe you win the race, you can sort of notice like these advertisements on the side during the track itself. So I think that's another important aspect that we're trying to push forward with Racing Pounds, which is the branding and marketing opportunities as well. So you can see here we have the Great Dream one. I think the Great Dream one has the nicest one because personally I like black. Yeah, and even for Valluna, I think you guys have like a very sleek navy blue as well, which I totally love. Yeah, so these are kind of sneak peeks that you guys will be seeing in terms of like the specifically branded for Guild cars as well. So when you guys can actually place the logos on these cars as well. So I think that's another aspect that we are pushing forward here today. Of course, the next thing is we are working with BoxTradex, because BoxTradex is a NFT marketplace. So BoxTradex, I think this is a good time for you guys to chill about BoxTradex as well, and how is it as a hub for GameFi projects and guilds wise.
Okay, so everyone can check out what we pin. Like you can see more pitch deck about what BoxTradex are doing right now. We have more and more features to let everyone explore on our platform. So the aiming of BoxTradex right now is like we want to build Web3 GameFi portal infrastructure to enable access to NFT and open metaverse. Like we want to be a hub for GameFi, Game Guild, or user who love to play the game to interact on our NFT marketplace in order to like gathering user who love to play the game active and expand in our ecosystem by providing a service that like release the customer needs. What customer needs, we will gathering is in BoxTradex. Yeah, like guild DAO choose the program for serving the guild that they can prove the evidence of who is the owner of that NFT, who is the lending, the durations time of lending. Yeah.
I think that's like the whole reason why we are actually working with like BoxTradex in terms of like probably the simplest use case for a marketplace, and it's definitely new. It's not, I would say it's not the biggest yet, but I feel that it could be the biggest in the future. So I think that's something that we should all look forward to when it comes to BoxTradex as a marketplace for NFTs wise, because I think for GameFi projects basically, I think NFTs are hard to separate from. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean now Ryan, it's your turn. Ryan, how about you talk about Racing Punks and talk more about our project and why is it going to be huge, basically, in Geekz.
So it's like a 30-second elevator
Yeah,
pitch,
let's
right?
go.
Now, look, I think the reason why I think we're going to be huge, partially, is quite simply because we created a game that wants to solve two problems. I think the first problem is that we realized generation one tokenomics is unsustainable. So for us to create a more sustainable tokenomics model, we had to create a better game that had better gameplay. And the second thing we realized was broken with Gen 1 is that kind of high barrier to entry, for people in, the second, third, and even something in the first world countries, was that to play in, so for example, to play in Axie Infinity or to play in DeFi Kingdoms, you have to sometimes fork thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars for these NFTs. So we want to reduce that barrier, want to remove that barrier, in fact. And to do that, all 30,000 NFTs, which are essentially in-game avatars and cards inside the game itself, it's a free mint. Because for us, like we said, we believe that the main idea of what Web2 does so successfully for games is, one, it's a great game, and also two, is that the great games are formed and foundationed and grown through great communities. So for us, it's essentially a great game with sustainable tokenomics plus free NFTs to really reduce the barrier to entry for all guilds and community members.
All right, that's like a great 30-second elevator pitch, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Zara, you have a question. All right, let me just push you up to speaker. All right, so now I'll actually be taking questions from the floor. So if you guys have any questions about the game, or basically you can ask any of the guild's questions as well. You guys can go ahead with that. So you just put your hands up and I'll probably check them out and then I'll push you guys up to speaker as well. So let me just push Zara up. Yeah, he's connecting. Let's give it a moment. Hello, Zara. Hi, how are you? Yeah, you have a question, right?
Yes, I have a question. My first question is to the guild.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I can't hear you.
Yes. So my question. So one important factor of GameFi and guilds is the community itself. My question: Guild offers scholarship program in order the scholars to play and earn the game without investing. But in a long run, scholars left due to in-game token value drops low. How you encourage and value your scholars to stay in your guild when this situation happened?
Right. Any of you want to take up the question? Sounds like a pretty tough one for you guys.
Oh, it's hard hitting.
Yeah. Geekz Wolf, BoxTradex, Valluna, anyone wants to take up the question?
Well, yeah, that's a tough one actually. Well, I think all of the guilds are having the same challenge for us to keep their scholar still within the communities. So what we are doing right now is encourage the scholars not only play one game, but you can play a couple of games. Even if we saw that this game is a casual game, so you just need like for less than an hour a day, or just like play the games every 4 hours for 10 minutes. So you could have another games. You can play another games as well within you. So that's how we keep our gamers into our communities. And the other part also, we encourage the scholars to get involved in the tournament from the new games that coming, because from that part they also can earning, right? So that's how actually how we still manage to engage with the games. And also we as a game guild also not only become like a scholarship relationship, but also the place, as I mentioned previously, as also the place for the gamers to hang out within the communities, make new friends, and also have fun together with the other gamers. So that's, I think, one of the strategy for us.
Great answer. How about anyone else? I think every guild does like their community management very differently. And even from our perspective as like a GameFi project, we manage our community and try to keep them happy by making sure they're updated and they're being rewarded, by staying active and stuff like that. And I agree with like having multiple games on board, because I think games in GameFi basically, they sort of have like a cooldown as to when you can play, or like there's probably like an energy system whereby you can only play a certain amount of times in this time period, and then you gotta wait for the energy to recharge before you can continue playing the game. So having multiple games on board for your scholars as well is a great thing, because you won't make the scholar bored, and you keep the scholar engaged in the game, whether it be game A, game B, game C. They is always engaged at all times. Yeah, so I think that's like a great way to engage community. Anyone have any better ideas on, like, or even equally good ideas to making sure that the scholars stay happy? I think Zara raised a very good point. Valluna, Great Dream Dude, do you think there's something you guys want to share about?
What we do is that we actually reinvest a portion of our profit sharing into like in-house tournaments, so that our scholars can actually still play more tournaments, play the game more, but still receive extra yield in that sense, because they'll have a tournament pool, like prize pool to fight for. And also we do run community game nights every week to just get the community going. Yeah. And also like movie nights and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, simple, very good. Zara, does that answer your question? Zara.
It's nice to hear a great answers.
All right.
So my last question is about the racing punks. So my question, how racing punks address this problem in order guilds will not so much affected in losing of scholars because of token drops low, or how you maintain the community to stay on your project even when the token drops low, or do you have a tokenomics system to stabilize the in-game token?
Ryan, I think you are going to be the best person to answer that question.
Yeah, nice one. Look, so it's a good question. So I guess when we kind of started, one of the key things we want to start with our game is it's not a play to earn, which I guess, put it this way, if this was a game that was play to earn, what would happen is you take one of your race car NFTs, you throw it out the track, and you'll simply get tokens for just participating. What we're doing is more a play to earn or a win to earn. So perfect example of this would be, let's say you enter a race with 7 other races out there, and every single person puts in 1 token. So there's a total pool of 8 tokens there. Now we could do 2 things. One could be a winner takes all, which means that if you come first place, you take all 8 tokens, or it could be a 1, 2, 3 ranking basis where the top 3 get an equal share of the tokens. So there's 2 things. The first thing that we want to do here is for the in-game economy. We want to make sure, as a skill-based game, not everyone's going to win, but as you improve your skill base, you'll definitely get a high chance of winning more tokens. But I think the second thing is, and what I love about this whole idea of the tokenomics is, the biggest challenge with all GameFi projects is looking at where, I guess, the demand for that token comes from. And if there's not enough demand, obviously with too much supply, the token price goes down. So one of the things that we are actually doing for Racing Punks is we take pretty much, like Clement and I, we love our F1, right? We would take that F1 model where if you're on a racetrack, you're going to see plenty of advertisers, right? Whether it's for alcohol, whether it's for, before cigarettes, right? Or even like technology. So for us on our racetracks, we're going to have billboards there where advertisers, whether you're a Web3 product or if you're a Web2 product, you're able to advertise, your products on our racetracks, only if you buy our in-game utility token, which is called Fuel. So we're looking at obviously getting outside revenue, from other, third parties, which is necessarily increases the demand for our token that helps balance the token emission for the games.
Yeah, and with regards to that, right, the proceeds will also, sort of be pumped back into the community as well, whereby we're able to, hold more tournaments when it comes to probably maybe the top 8 races in that season, for example. You guys can go for like a, quarterfinal kind of like best of 8 tournament, whereby someone can actually win like the grand prize of our tokens as well. So I think that's something that we are trying to, incorporate into the system as well, because I feel that in order for a game to be competitive, there has to be something at stake, and people have to lose. Yeah. If everyone wins, then it's not sustainable anymore, because everyone's going to lose that probably the excitement of winning after some time. But the fact that someone loses, right, it could work both ways. It could make the person strive to get better at the game, or you could just maybe get the person out of the system whereby the person can just sell NFT and the next gamer will come along and try again. And maybe if this guy gets good at it, he can be one of the top few as well. So I think it's this kind of like mindset that we are trying to incorporate whereby it's more skill focused and more skill based rather than, everyone wins at the same time. I think that's very important. Yeah.
It's a good point, Clem, because I feel like the idea is that there is no ecosystem, there is no protocol out there where everyone wins. Because if everyone wins, then sure enough, everyone's going to lose, right? Because it's not sustainable to continuously hand out tokens and maintain the price floor without very simply understanding where's the demand and is that demand exceeding supply. So I think what we're going to see with the likes of our game and what we hope to see with GameFi projects moving towards is the idea of with skill-based, you reward the best players, right? But as you reward the best players, you build up the competitiveness of the game, and therefore there are larger prize pools available for the community.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan. You got it spot on. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, anyone else wants to answer the question when it comes to making sure the tokens are sustainable? Or okay, maybe the question is more for us anyway. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Zara, for the questions. Do you have any more? Yeah.
Thank you so much for the answers.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So I think that should be all for today. I think it's been like a great introduction, to each and every one of you guys, expertise, especially like the GameFi environment. Yeah, I mean, we'll probably end it off here. And on top of that, I think we are also working out like the whitelist process, especially for each of the guilds. I think I've got it sorted out already. I've had it set up. But I'm just going to talk to BoxTradex with regards to that as well. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming today. If you guys have anything else to add, now's the time. But basically, it's been a very great night, great time talking to you guys, especially from all over the world, mostly in Southeast Asia. I mean, we have people from Thailand, we have people from Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore, and like all of these great places whereby GameFi is thriving right now. Yeah. So thank you so much for actually attending this probably studio spaces with us. It won't be the first. It is the first, but it won't be the last basically. Yeah. So thank you guys for coming and have a good night. So thank you guys for coming along. Yeah. You guys have anything else you want to say?
Oh yeah, thank you for tonight, and yeah, nice to meet you all the guild here. I hope that when the game launch, we can have more and more larger community in the game. Yeah, let's keep in touch for another event as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on board. And by the way, Shirley is speaking on behalf of Great Dream Guilds, who's also one of our partners. So yeah, she's representing Great Dream Guild. And don't forget to check out all their socials, follow them. There'll be more updates with regards to Racing Punks coming along as well. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon. So thank you all for coming today. See you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you so
Good night.
much.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye.
let's keep in touch. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.